Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy at Flystewie. What is do, Flake Crew? You already know I'm in the building. Flystewie is here. But yeah, today I'm actually gonna be live streaming a little bit for you guys, and I'm about to just get into it right now. So let's do this. We're gonna talk about J. Cole today. I always need to clear my throat before I start. That's just how I do it. So back in the day, if you sold weed, you were a criminal. Nowadays, if you sell weed, you're an entrepreneur. Hi, Flystewie here, and today's episode of the Uneducated Investor Podcast is brought to you by Feet. Thank goodness we have them. I want to talk to you guys about J. Cole today. And to do that, I need to talk about drugs. Now, we're going through a crazy time in North America specifically. A crazy time because just a couple of years ago, maybe a decade or two, weed was thought to be the most evilest, disingenuous thing ever. There is literally, to this day, people still in the States serving lifetime sentences for non-criminal offenses. Most of them is either weed possession, weed distribution, and of course I'm talking about weed possession. You gotta be possessing a pretty high amount, but just a crazy amount of weed. And what makes this so fascinating is that now that information is being distributed so fast, we as a culture have noticed the real reason why the tax on weed have been what they are. A lot of them have been racially motivated, and because of that, it's been ingrained in the system, and we're just unwinding slowly that slow lever back there. J. Cole, in his album, he talks about drug use. And one of the big things that makes his album so interesting and so engaging, and why you really need to take in KOD, is because he's talking about an actual drug problem. You see, we're now leaving weed and we're actually starting to face drug problems. And this kind of highlights, in its essence, the hypocrisy of just our system in general. Right now, the opioid epidemic is just going ridiculous. Now, opioid epidemic, this is prescription drugs that anyone can really get their hands on if they have a good enough story on why they need them. And I just want to read to you guys some quick stats. This is just a CNN article. If you have me on video, you can see what I'm looking at. Well, this is just a quick CNN article that's going to basically just read you some quick facts, do some quick maths. I know you guys love that. So anyways, during 2016, there were more than 63,000 overdose deaths in the United States. 63,000, man. That is just an ungodly number. The number of opioid prescriptions dispensed by doctors steadily increased from 112 million prescriptions in 1992 to a peak of 282 million in 2012. So I just wanted to highlight just one thing. People are dying from this, right? And because this is such a profitable industry, right, that people are, even though people can see we're dying, even though we can see there's a drug problem, people are still not slowing down. They're actually amped up. They basically doubled the amount of prescriptions going out. And people are literally dying from this. And J. Cole, normally raps and music and art is a reflection of the time that's going around us. So in the hip-hop culture, in the party culture, you see a lot of entertainers, artists, they glorize the drugs. They glorize them. They talk about how basically how drugs are bad. You need to do Percocet, Molly Percocet, shout out to my boy Future. And all these artists are just talking about drugs all the time. Literally, they're glorifying. And J. Cole, instead of being a follower of the trend, he not only identifies this hypocrisy of these rappers through his whole songs, he really goes in depth and analyzes drugs from each area. And he identifies a new business trend, which I think is going to be huge. You see, and J. Cole really goes in depth. He talks about his own living with his mom and her having an addiction problem. He talks about rappers and how, talking about trends of this nature are fickle and you won't be able to last a long time in the industry. And the one area that he really hits on, I think, well, is just more of the mental illness aspect of drug use. You see, mental illness and having conversation about it, it's now mainstream. Stress, anxiety, having things that just bother you day to day, a mental weight, it's now mainstream. We as a society have accepted that some people, have things mentally going on with them, and you don't need to medicate. As J. Cole would say, instead just meditate. And as an investor, as business investors, which a lot of us who are watching this podcast are, this is an area that I'm super interested in. Of course, I'm interested in the other area, which is weed stocks. I haven't invested in any, but I'm really looking in. Actually, I was watching this really cool documentary on Facebook, or video on Facebook, talking about weed reparations, where those guys in jail that were selling weed, now they're giving them money to sell weed. And their mama's never been more proud of their baby selling weed. But anyways, that's beside the point. J. Cole hits on a very important topic, a very upcoming business trend, and that's meditation. I think this is going to be huge. I think meditation is going to be just enormously huge, because normally when you used to look at cultures, we used to go to something like religion for just our mental wellness, our mental well-being. But with religion becoming less and less popular, something needs to take its place, and something that helps us mentally. And I think that's why meditation, like yoga and everything in the mental health, mental wellness area, that area is primed to explode. And that's why J. Cole's so smart, because he's by taking away people's thoughts about drugs, he's actually giving you a solution, and that's, of course, is mental wellness. Anyways, have you heard the J. Cole album? Is it a thumbs up from you? Is it a thumb down? Personally, I'm just on the actual listenability factor of it, just on the entertainment value. It's up and down for me. It's up because I like it. It's down because it's J. Cole, and he needs to be as good as Kendrick, but right now Kendrick's whooping him. But I still love the message. He took a different approach. Anyways, make sure to subscribe anywhere podcasts are available. Leave a review on iTunes or Stitcher. And of course, Flight Crew, I need to take off. Stay curious and always keep uneducated. Anyways, I love you guys. Easy. Mwah. And Facebook, YouTube, leave a comment in the box. If you're not subscribed or liking my Facebook page or subscribe to my YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe. If this is Twitch, make sure you follow. And of course, man, I got some good gameplay coming out for you guys. I'm really having fun with this Twitch streaming. It's really interesting. I'm going to keep doing it because I am a fly criminal. And anyways, man, I got to get out of here. Keep uneducated, guys. I thought I stopped it, but I didn't. Anyways, bro, subscribe, subscribe. Easy, easy, easy.